And then finally, Texas A&M, Auburn. Obviously, an important game for Texas A&M. Keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Keep their SEC championship hopes alive. Auburn needs to win out to get to a bowl. Yeah, Texas A&M 2.5 point favorite here on the road, coming off the bye, and they stay focused.
Mhm.
Mike Elko asked, "Are you looking ahead to Texas?" He said, and I quote, this is his quote from the presser.
I think our focus is single-handedly on Texas. I mean, on Auburn right now, and locked in on what we got to get done.
A little bit of a
He
slip
said
there.
that out. He said that out loud. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
he said our focus is single-handedly on Texas. Well, no, he just said, I think it was just a slip of the tongue, which is just funny. Like, is he really just thinking about Texas? Um, so our Auburn's defense has been elite all year, one of the more underrated units in all of college football. I think Texas A&M is, and look, I've invested in them. I think that they're pretty overrated. Like if you look at just their body of work and how they were able to catch teams with the surprise quarterbacks. And what's their best win? Their best win is Missouri. Is that their best win?
Yeah.
So, but here's my problem. It's like I wanted to back Auburn here. I wanted three. Um, and I also don't see how this game goes over. I think it'll be super low scoring. I think Texas A&M might play a little tight. Auburn just, and by the way, Hugh Freeze is 0-10 against teams in his career at Auburn, 0-10 straight up against teams that finish with a above 500 record. So what I'm worried about is Auburn all year just loses dumb games because they're dumb and they can't convert yards into points and they have bad turnovers and they have awful special teams.
Hmm.
That's something I'm really worried about. A&M elite special teams. This should be a close game, low scoring game. They have I'm a Lou Groza and Ray Guy award voter. I think Texas A&M's punter and kicker were both on both semifinalist lists. You know, it wasn't on either the kicker for Auburn. Their kicker's hurt. They went to their backup, who's so bad. So now they have a walk on who they went to. He made his field goals last week, but they were like 20 yarders. He was at a D3 school. It closed. And then he was like going to take night classes, I think, at Auburn. That's their kicker now. So like they just do dumb stuff. Like that's my fear here. But I do think Auburn, who's just been super unlucky, but their defense is legit elite. But I think they're going to come out here, rely on Hunter, rely on their rushing attack. I think Texas A&M is going to try to do the same, but their backfield is banged up. Their offensive line isn't fully healthy. I think this game is going to be like a slog.
Yep.
I lean Auburn. I want three. But my fear is just all those little things and the coaching and the special teams and the turnovers and all that. And A&M is going to find a way. What are your thoughts here?
No one comes into Jordan Hare in November and pushes Auburn around unless your name is Diego Pavia. So listen, I think this is going to be a really tough environment. The overlook is real for Texas A&M. I did buy Auburn at 3, but I had to pay minus 126 for it. So it wasn't one of the larger bets that I've made. Hate paying juice, but and team SEC team at home. I project this game Texas A&M -1. You're right. Lackadaisical or loss of focus is there in the tackling numbers. For some reason, Mike Elko's team is outside the top 100 in tackling. For some reason, there are just certain gaps that they have in here in their numbers because they're stellar on the defensive line. I think you're going to see Jarquez Hunter and Peyton Thorne run a lot of outside zone away from Nick Scorton. That's really their run concept that they like to do. But when you go to the other side of the ball, like Le'Veon Moss was out last night on that last night's SEC availability report. Ruben Owens doubtful. I mean, who's running the ball for them? Amari Daniels. I'm not. He only had 5 carries against New Mexico State last week.
DJ, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, right. So, what kind of offense are they going to turn into? Because if it's a passing offense, that's something Texas A&M's really kind of struggled with, especially when you look at their on-target rate, 128th in combination of Wiegman and Marcel Reed throwing this year. Um, Jarquez Hunter and Peyton Thorne, they run every single run concept here. And I think it's going to be a lot for Texas A&M. I think it's a hostile environment. I make the game Texas A&M -1. So I wouldn't blame anyone for taking Auburn +2.5. And if you get feeling a little weird about it in the middle of the game, you want to buy out of it and try to get a field goal on the other side, I probably will be in that same boat. But just cannot ignore the overlook, Jordan Hare, and the fact that Texas A&M does have gaffes of the tackling numbers are just kind of surprising to me when I look at their sheet.
I need three. Like I can see this game easily. Auburn misses a field goal late, and then A&M makes a field goal and wins by three.
Texas A&M's 121st in penalties. Like that's what I'm talking about with this lackadaisical, like loss of focus, and like they just shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, so is Auburn. Auburn does that better than anyone.
They just give you pick sixes and ruin my
The
life.
special teams are what concern me for Auburn. The
Yeah.
special teams mismatch in this game, and but I think my favorite bet in the game is the under. If I can't get three.